Okay. Speaking of the fires and everything else that's going on, let's take a look at what's happening in Los Angeles.
My name is Anthony Maroney. I am the County of Los Angeles Fire Chief, and I'm also the Region 1 Coordinator for Fire and Rescue Resources. I'm going to be giving an update on the Palisades fire in addition to the Eaton fire, although I am aware that we have 4 large fires burning in LA County at this time. The Palisades fire is located in both LA City and LA County. We are in unified command with the City of Los Angeles Fire Department in addition to CAL FIRE. We have well over 5,000 acres that have burned, and the fire is growing. We have no percentage of containment. We have an estimated 1,000 structures destroyed and also no reported fatalities and a high number of significant injuries to residents who did not evacuate, in addition to first.
Let me break out the world's smallest violin for those greedy a-holes who have tried to make Palisades and Malibu private beaches for years. Dog, it's not just rich people that are losing their homes. Please stop. Just wait till you find out. They also have like extra fire insurance and protection and stuff like that too. The rich people do. Also, even then, there are workers that live there. But even if it's rich people, like, no one should die. Can we please? Can we please not do this? Okay. I like that if it's a red state, chat will come in and say, well, they deserved it because they voted for Trump. And then if it's a blue state, they go, okay, they're liberals, but they're also rich. And it's like, no, the entire point of fixing society is so that no one has to, incur harm that is unnecessary. Okay, please. Yeah, and of course I'm saying that because I live in Los Angeles and I'm rich and I'm demonstrating class solidarity, and not even though I say the exact same thing whenever we're talking about the state of Florida. When we talk about the state of Florida being underwater, everybody comes in and goes, like they voted for Donald Trump. They deserve this. It's like, no, nobody deserves it. Nobody. Okay. What is this? POV, you're a gay camel in jeans sitting down. Wow. They're dripped out the wazoo with the tabbies. Okay. Get you a tabby boyfriend-girlfriend combo. Anyway, all right, let's continue.
Responders who are on the fire line.
I'm being a consistent ass. I say it with Florida. I'll say it now. Wait, what? No, that's you're wrong on both accounts. That doesn't make you more right. That just makes you more wrong. What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
This house?
Yeah, look. My parents have been in this house for 75 years and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire insurance. We're going to go through this, and it just happened, and they don't have fire insurance.
For 75 years.
And it's funny because it's like you got doctors, you got lawyers. It's not like every single person that lives there is like a real estate broker or something. You know what I mean? I like that chatter is like, nah, you don't understand, dog. It's just every single person there is a villain. I'm doubly wrong. Anyway, let's continue.
We have over.
I don't know why I have to spend so much time always, anytime there's natural disasters, like educating people on how to be a human being.
1,000 personnel assigned, and the cause of the fire is unknown. However, it is under investigation. For the Eaton fire, it is located in both the Angeles National Forest, the Altadena area of LA County, and Pasadena. LA County is in unified command with both the Angeles National Forest and the Pasadena Fire Department. We have over 2,000 acres burning at this time, and the fire continues to grow with 0% containment. We have over 500.
Genuine question. So we care about the rich folks in Cali, but not CEOs post Luigi? Oh my God. I want a Luigi Mangione style situation for myself so I never have to explain to people what an action and a reaction looks like. Okay? Versus your imagined slight that you are bringing about an area where more than 1,000 buildings have been burned into the ground, including libraries, schools. Okay? Do you understand? It's like saying, well, what if someone self-defended themselves against a serial killer? If you have an issue with that, if you have no issue with someone shooting a serial killer who's in the act of doing a serial killing, then you must actually think it's okay to do the Holocaust. Okay? There are differences between these two concepts. This is a natural disaster born out of climate change, a natural disaster that is unpredictable, that is destroying entire swaths of populated land. Very funny seeing people watch you and simultaneously suggesting all people in Cali who make a lot of money should perish in a fire. No contradiction there at all. Yeah, I mean, look, I also don't care about that either. Like as far as my own personal situation, like I'm not defending this because this is close to me, even though it is close to me. This is a principle that I've consistently held in instances where I'm covering natural disasters in the South as well, in red states as well, right? Like, it's not like this is just a consistent thing that I have to describe to people who seemingly have no empathy. What about a tortured hypothetical where your perspective is wrong? Yeah, not so simple now, huh, Mr. Politics? That's exactly what's happening. It's also funny because, like, Altadena is not exactly a super wealthy part. I mean, obviously, Pasadena's right there. There's, like, wealthier parts of Pasadena in general. But, like, the Eaton fire is also hitting, you know, certain areas that are not exactly... Like, fire doesn't just... There's no class consciousness in a wildfire, chat. Wait, has there been confirmation that this fire started from natural causes? I don't know what the fire's inception is. Okay, I am not defending either point. I just don't see the hard line in the sand as much as everybody else. Death is still death. I'm not baiting for the record. I tried to describe to you the tortured hypothetical that you were engaging in an effort to help you understand that, like, no, it's not the same. Okay. I do understand that point. Okay, so you understand the point I'm making, but you're just... They think the Palisades fire started in someone's backyard, but can't confirm yet. I don't know. I don't know how it started, but it doesn't matter. The reason why it exploded this way, the reason why it exploded this way is because of the massive winds. And there is 0% containment. Like, they have not contained anything. Okay? I even had to download Watch Duty, an application, so that I can get a better understanding of what is happening. And the fire zone and the evacuation zone just keeps growing and growing and growing. There is no containment of this whatsoever. And they say that there won't be any containment for the next couple of days, at least until the wind subsides. So there's not really anything that can happen at this point. Like, the wind is just going to keep picking this up. There hasn't been any rain whatsoever in the past, like, half a year here in California. There is very little humidity. Everything is super dry. So there's an endless amount of fuel everywhere for this fire to continue. And when you pair it up with wind, when you pair it up with 80-mile winds, it's just going to keep moving this fire around rapidly.
100 personnel assigned, and unfortunately, we have 2 reported fatalities to civilians. Unknown cause at this time, and we do have a number of significant injuries. We have over 100 structures destroyed, and the cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation. I will ask that LA City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley update you on the Hearst fire after I am finished with my remarks. The LA County Fire Department operational area consists of 29 separate fire departments in LA County, and all of those fire departments are at drawdown with no fire apparatus or additional personnel to spare. As the Region 1 coordinator, I have requested mutual aid from the 5 counties of Orange, Los Angeles, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo counties. Additionally, last night, I contacted the State Office of Emergency Services and requested 50 engine strike teams.
Have they not declared a state of emergency? No, they have. They have already. Of course they have. It's really bad.
50 engine strike teams is composed of 250 fire engines and over 1,000 personnel. We have also requested resources from out of state.
My best friend's lost both of his grandparents' homes in LA due to the fire. Friends of mine lost their homes. Most of us are just bartenders. Friends' grandparents were teachers or retired. LA isn't just rich people. There's so many of us just renting with roommates, and we've lost our homes. Exactly. But even if it was all like, you know, upper middle class people, it's still like ridiculous to be like, yeah, hell yeah, they deserved it. You know who deserves it, dude? Retired teachers. I do not care about the ruling class. I do not care about tackling the systems. I just want the American people to suffer. It's so funny. And it's like, dude, your dad works for PricewaterhouseCoopers. You live in a Connecticut McMansion, and you're typing this like little radical statement from your MacBook that your mom or dad purchased for you, where you act as though you are a real revolutionary. It's like, come on.
As well as Northern California. Thank you to the first responders from Nevada, Oregon, and Washington State that are already on the road coming to LA County to assist. Lastly, the National Weather Service has predicted a continued red flag weather event with strong winds and low humidities, placing all residents of Los Angeles County in danger. To all of our viewers, please prioritize your safety as well as the well-being of those around you as we come together to continue to get through this widespread disaster. Los Angeles County firefighters will remain on the front line until we reach full containment, and we ask that you keep all of Los Angeles County in your thoughts and prayers. I would now like to invite up Los Angeles City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley to give her briefing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Crowley, Los Angeles City Fire Department Fire Chief. I'd like to start with just a moment, if we could, of gratitude. A moment of gratitude for our first responders, our boots on the ground that are battling this intense and multiple jurisdiction and number of fires. So gratitude to those who are doing the work since yesterday through the night. And like Chief Maroney said, we're going to continue to work hard to ensure that we save people, lives.
By the way, this doesn't mean that there aren't real villains who have, suffered repercussions from this natural disaster, for the record. James Woods being one of them, but also that other guy who was like demanding Donald Trump cut property taxes or something, even though that's not how that works. Obviously, that's like dependent on your state. Wasserman, the guy who was like looking for private firefighters, contracted firefighters to defend his home or something. You know, there are some people individually that are there are some people individually that might not be the best possible people and have been genuine monsters who are experiencing the downsides of being, living in this area. But just, that's neither here nor there. That's a little different. Speaking of Connecticut, you helped me realize my ex-BF wasn't shit. So thanks to Sam, found out he was a divorcelli enjoyer and hates you. Found out during the election because I was watching your coverage. When he found out I was watching you, he yelled at me. Wait, what? TLDR, divorcelli enjoyer couldn't get his girl flowers after 6 months of her begging him to. What is happening out here, man? Dude, imagine getting into a serious fight with your significant other because they're watching me. That is psychotic behavior. Anyway, James, the woods are on fire. No ceasefire, no compromises, no forgiveness. Kill them all.
I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk.
Yeah. The best part, he wasn't even trying to save people, just real estate. Yeah, I saw this. This moron deleted this, but it perfectly encapsulates everything. You stupid rich guys. Does anyone have access to private firefighters to protect our home in Pacific Palisades? Need to act fast here. All neighbors' house is burning. We'll pay any amount. Thank you. Best part was he wasn't trying to save people, just real estate. That's not how firefighting works or prioritize which areas to attempt to save in a large wildfire. Best advice is to evacuate with as many valuables and irreplaceable items as you can and don't waste time tweeting. We left hours ago trying to protect homes. Why are you hating? Okay. Why am I hating? What are you saying? Why am I hating? People are losing their homes and possibly their lives. And this dude is out here. Being like, can we hire some private contractors, some private firefighter brigades to go and defend our neighborhood? That's crazy. We are in some really crazy times, okay? Has Greta Thunberg taken her keffiyeh off to address the fires in LA yet, or are there too many Jews living here for her to be concerned? I like that whenever something happens in the world, people like Eve Fartlow turn around and find it in their hearts to somehow make this about themselves. And not even just about themselves, but also make it about a petty grievance that they have over someone who is an anti-genocide advocate. That's crazy. The R word. Why this time might be an exception. Is it true that LA uses prison inmates to fight wildfires? Yes, 30% of the people that fight the wildfires in wildfire season are inmates. Yes. Here's a good climate change take, by the way. 11 months ago, Los Angeles area got a year's worth of rain and faced life-threatening flooding and mudslides. Now it's on fire after its driest start to a water year on record. These are the increasing extremes of a warming world. New normal, baby. New normal. And then can't get a firefighting job when they get out. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well. The resolution to stop inmates being used that did not pass in this election. Yeah, listen. The thing is, I don't have an issue with training programs in general. There is obviously all labor done under coercive conditions is going to be slavery. Okay. So prison labor is always slavery unconditionally. Training programs, however, have a capacity to lower the recidivism rate. Now, the issue is, one, they need to get paid the normal wage that you're supposed to get paid if you're combating a wildfire, but prisoners don't get paid that. They get paid pennies on the dollar. And two, they need to be able to retain that job after they're out of prison, and fire departments quite literally do not hire them. Hasanabi. Nice. This is the issue. I think you said that wrong. Isn't all labor done coercively? You said all coercion is slavery. Yes, it would be wage slavery, technically under capitalism. But there's a difference. Like slavery, in the way that you understand it, in prison, is closer to the concept of slavery that we, as we understand it, versus the coercive elements of existing under capitalism and having to do wage slavery. Okay, there are levels to it. I know you were covering the fires, but did you see the ICE started doing raids in California already? Wait, what? They were everywhere in Bakersfield yesterday? That's insane. Is it the law that doesn't allow hiring and fire departments choose not to hire? We'll go into it in a second. But let's continue with this coverage real quick.
Property. With that, I'll be touching on a couple major points. With the Pacific Palisades fire, we know that it continues to demand a significant amount of resources and attention. A second major brush fire, now referred to as the Hearst Fire, has erupted in the Sylmar area of Los Angeles. Now, together, these fires are stretching the capacity of emergency services to their maximum limits. The Los Angeles City Fire Department is battling these two major fires while also maintaining, I want to focus on this as well, 911 services for the city's approximate 4 million residents. Now, despite the severity of the conditions, our department remains fully committed to safeguarding lives and property. Next, I want to focus on what we've done over the last 24 hours. And with that, even within the city of Los Angeles, with these two major brush fires, our department has responded to 3,624 911 calls for service. And to put that in perspective, our average is just under 1,500 calls in a 24-hour period. Over the last 24 hours, we've also responded to an additional 32 structure fires within the city. We've treated and transported an extensive number of medical emergencies, well extending our normal 650 transports to the local hospitals. When it comes to the Pacific Palisades fire, as Chief Maroney had said, this is over 3,000 acres at this point and continues to grow. We will confirm the exact acreage later, so we'll make sure that we also communicate that to the community and to the media. Last night, as of 1930 hours, all aircrafts were grounded due to the high winds. Aircraft are continued to be able to resume their water drops and acreage mapping today when the weather allows us to do so. A total of 3,398 civilians and 15,000.
Emergency services stretched to its limits and 0% contained is a terrible combo. Yes, because there is only so much you can do in terms of containing this fire. If nature will always take its course. So the best they can do is evacuate. The best they can do is help with that process and try to ensure that it doesn't go into like densely populated urban areas. But if the wind picks it up, considering how dry the LA brush is in general, because of how dry of a year that we've had so far, there is nothing you can do. You can't combat the wind. You know what I mean? The problem, the issue here also is that like there's always more people you could hire. Okay, there's always more firefighters you could hire. There's always more people you could hire to combat the spreading of the fire. You know, there's always more R&D investment into new ways of ensuring that the infrastructure is hardened, that there's proper maintenance of the forest, things of that nature. The problem, however, is that our spending priorities are elsewhere, it seems.
– 105 structures are in the evacuation zone. And again, the evacuation zones are the following: north of PCH, west of Kenter Avenue and San Vicente Boulevard, south of Mulholland Drive, and east of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. There are multiple evacuation centers which are supported by the American Red Cross. Injuries. Of course, there's a lot of interest in injuries. We have several firefighters.
Please follow in local newscasts. The data CNN is using is already wrong. It's changing and it's not up to date. Dude, what are you talking about? This is from this morning, okay? Calm down. Like, yeah, I know. It's just... Plus, wouldn't efficiently mass transit make evacuation less of a horror show? There's an element of that as well. But so much has changed since. I know. Calm down, okay? Here, take a day off. Take a day off and cool out.
And civilian injuries that have been reported, and all patients have been treated and transported to the local hospitals. Damage assessments. Chief Maroney did speak about a specific number. We are still vetting that through on the city side, so more information to come, and we will message that as soon as we can validate that. Approximately 400 LAFD firefighters have been deployed to the Palisades fire. We have many hundreds of law enforcement officers.
That guy wasn't being reasonable. No, they are being unreasonable, behaving in a hysterical manner because, like, the evacuation areas have changed slightly when it's very obvious that we're listening to, that's only one aspect of the coverage, is being hysterical.
Partner agency responders and public works members engaged in supporting our overall operations. We are going to be transitioning to CAL FIRE this morning to manage this incident at 0800 hours. Next, I'd like to talk briefly about our Hearst fire, which is located in Sylmar. Last night at approximately 10:10 p.m., the fire erupted in...
Yeah, there's 3 additional fires that have started since this press conference have happened. You have the Olivia's fire and the Freddy fire. It's basically spreading into, like, it's almost spreading into Ventura County at this point. Like, there's a 11-acre Olivia's fire in Oxnard. There is a 2-acre fire, Freddy fire, 1 mile north of Mulholland Highway, Pacific Coast, the PCH. And of course, the Palisades fire is now at 11,800 acres, and there is no containment, and the status is active.
The Sylmar area of Los Angeles, adjacent to the Los Angeles National Forest. The fire has rapidly expanded to over 500 acres, prompting the emergency evacuation of more than 3,000 residents. This fire is burning within the footprint of the historic Saddle Ridge fire.
It's so funny. People are like, bro, you're not giving round the clock updates. Like, yeah, I'm not a local news broadcaster, chatter. We've got to get, of course. I'm offering broad coverage over this like historically large fire. This is not your local news.
Right to the story. I don't know about you guys. I stayed up late just watching it over and over and over again. And you feel so helpless sitting there watching it, but I can't take my eyes off of it.
It's incredibly difficult to see what people are going through in Los Angeles right now.
So upsetting. And we're going to begin, of course, with that. The extremely dangerous conditions around Los Angeles as those multiple wildfires.
There's a small fire in Koreatown, but like that is escape the Eaton fire to K-Town just to see a new fire start up Western and Beverly. Small fire in K-Town starting up. This is in the middle of the city, far away from the 2 large fires. This is not most likely not related to anything else, and will like they will put this down. Like, this is what I mean. This is the reason why I'm not doing real-time coverage on wherever there are new fires popping up, because there's no reason to freak people out like this. That's a separate structural fire that will be taken care of by the fire department. You know what I mean? That's just like, that's the reason why I'm covering things after the fact and looking at mainstream media coverage over what has happened so far.
To just burn out of control, including the one you see here. This is the Palisades fire, which has destroyed multiple homes and the businesses, forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate. Now, this is just one of 3 fires in the area that is fueled by the high winds, including the Eaton fire, that's northeast of LA, and the Hearst fire, that's in the northern outskirts. Of course, we've got team coverage all over this. We're going to start with Jonathan Bigliotti. He is in Malibu.
And Gail, good morning to you. Simply put, this is a hellscape. There are so many homes on fire. It is unusual to see a home that is not. We're here on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, and look at what 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts are doing to these flames. This home devoured, the one next to it about to go up in flames as well. Meanwhile, fire crews here stretched thin. We have seen very few here on the road.
That's wild, by the way. He's just standing across the street from a house that is lit up, no mask, no protection, just raw dogging earth, okay? Respect to this guy. He's like, says you, brother, it's a little different. I went to the park, okay? I didn't stand across from a residential building burning down. I wasn't raw dogging a fire directly.
As they are battling fires throughout this area.
A community completely destroyed by the ferocious wind-driven Palisades fire on the west side of Los Angeles in Pacific Palisades. One man seen trying to use a hose to put out the flames got burned in the process. We visited one neighborhood overnight, which is a total loss.
Got this one over here across the street, another one up in flames. You pan over here, homes lost on this street, home here gone. Firefighters aren't trying to save anything here. They're trying to put out these flames to prevent them from jumping to other neighborhoods. I've never seen anything like this.
The Palisades fire broke out Tuesday morning and within 20 minutes exploded to more than 200 acres, creating the walls of flames you see here.
Los Angeles is currently experiencing an extreme fire weather condition. With the winds as unpredictable as they are, there's very, very much at risk.
While evacuation notifications were sent out, traffic built up on the few main routes in and out of the area.
That's the other part of it, is that like these areas are inaccessible outside of like 2 major routes. So the evacuation of these areas is also a very difficult endeavor, especially if one of those routes is closed off by the wildfires that you're escaping. And now the PCH is closed too. They've evacuated the entirety of the area as far as I understand. But there are new evacuations that are coming down as the unpredictable wildfire moves into more urban areas. People basically ditched their cars on the roads yesterday, where they were like, yep, it's over. I don't want to die in this car. So they ditched their cars, and you had bulldozers basically pushing those cars out of the road in an effort to make way for emergency services trucks and the like. But yeah, here is the Palisades fire. It's pretty wild. Yeah, the craziest thing about this is that people on the west side routinely fight against public transit because they claim it will hurt our ability to evacuate. The gridlock here was so bad, everyone had to leave their cars behind, which then blocked emergency vehicles. Yep. The only thing that will actually reduce traffic density and reduce gridlock in general is public transit. And Los Angelinos routinely advocate against it. We are so unimaginably car-brained, and this is a part. They also left their keys in the car, which is, not it left their keys in the car. Sorry, they took their keys with them, which I feel like is extra crazy. It's like, bro, it's over. You know what I mean? The car is gone. You gotta leave the keys in there, I think. Right? Isn't that the proper protocol at that point? Is done. Is over. You're abandoning the car. They needed their house keys, which were also on the ring. The house that will burn. Unless it's attached to your house keys, I mean, even then, you can take the house key out. No, your insurance company will deny your claim. I guess it's like a moment of panic.
What they have to do.
There are looters. Dude, that's the funniest argument. Yeah, you're right. They're going to loot your car as opposed to this bulldozer that is already pushing your car that is going to be engulfed in flames shortly thereafter. Or looters that are going to go into your house that is about to burn down. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, these are a special kind of looter. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do in that situation? Let's say there are looters. Like, people say that about flooding, which is already ridiculous. Okay, people say that about flooding. Oh, there's looters when the area is flooded. Okay. But when, you definitely can't survive a wildfire. Like, what do you got? How are you surviving the flames if you're looting people's houses?
Here on Palisades Drive, if anybody has a car and they leave the keys in the car so that we can move your car so that these fire trucks can get up Palisades Drive. Yeah. What's happening is people take their keys with them as if they're in a parking lot. This is not a parking lot. Yeah. We really need people to move their cars. So if you leave your car in Palisades Drive, leave the key in there so a guy like me can move your cars and get them up there so that these fire trucks can get up there. It's really, really important.
Thank you for talking to us live, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, the smart thing to do is just move your car away from major roads and just leave it on the side of the road if you're gonna ditch it. But yeah, this is actor Steve Guttenberg.
My name is Steve Guttenberg.
Steve, do you live in this area?
I live in the area. I live right up the hill, and thank goodness everybody. But I have friends up there right now, and they can't evacuate because it's stuck on Palisades Drive.
Yeah, and you're an actor.
Yeah, I'm an actor.
Okay, now you look familiar. You look familiar to me now.
Yeah.
So, sir, do you have family up there? I was just talking to that gentleman. He has a mom who's stuck up in the hills.
Yeah, there are people stuck up there. So we're trying to clear Palisade Drive, and I'm walking up there as far as I can, moving cars. But people don't take their keys with them as if it's a parking lot. There are families up there. There are pets up there. There are people who really need help.
And you told us that this is one of those situations. We have seen this. People are not able to move. We were in our live truck. We couldn't even move. They told us to bust a U-turn.
Me, a criminal, rubbing my hands together as I sprint to the Palisades to steal a car. Ooh, yeah. Steve Guttenberg, famous 80s and 90s actor Steve Guttenberg tried to steal my car on live TV. This is unacceptable.
I've never seen traffic this slow.
Well, of course, we've got a huge fire up there. We got huge winds right now, and it's really important for people to help each other. It's really important for everybody to band together, and don't worry about your personal property. Just get out. Get your loved ones and get out. I have friends up there. They can't get out right now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
They've been given evacuation orders.
Have you been
Dude, we made 2 arrests this morning for looting already, says Los Angeles Sheriff Robert Luna. Dude, I don't know why, but controversial opinion, but like maybe use all hands that are readily available to combat the fire and help with the evacuation. Okay? That's like I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Am I crazy? Is this a crazy take? Is this a hot take? Is this a flaming hot take? I don't know. It's like, oh, thank God they're prioritizing this. It's like,
make sure people know deputies are working to assist residents who are evacuating and continuing to make evacuation notices as we're speaking. They are securing areas that are evacuated. And it's always sad when I have to say this, but part of our responsibility is to make sure that no one loots or steals from our residents, our community members who are already being impacted. And I'm sad to report.
My point was criminals aren't smart. Not all homes are burning. Told you. I didn't say there are no people that are opportunists in this regard. My point still stands. That house is most likely going to burn regardless. This is ridiculous. Using the finite amount of resources you have on combating looters pre-ban. I don't know why you think so highly of yourself. I don't even care enough to ban you. Like, I think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, dude, that's right. We're doing our best to protect the property before it engulfs in flames. Okay.
We made 2 arrests this morning for looting already. So if you are thinking about coming into any of these areas to steal from our residents, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be caught, you're going to be arrested, and you're going to be prosecuted. Don't do that. Stay out of these areas. It's only for emergency workers and people who live there.
He reverse psychology you into not banning him? No, it's so insignificant. It's so utterly inconsequential that it doesn't even deserve a ban. Like I'm standing by that decision. Yeah, it's gonna burn it regardless. I think that the only thing that is appropriate in the situation is to ensure that no one is in that area. If you're like detaining someone, it is specifically to save them from themselves.
I want to make sure people know deputies are working to assist residents who are evacuating and continuing to make evacuation notices as we're speaking. They are securing areas that are evacuated. And it's always sad when I have to say this, but part of our responsibility is to make sure that no one loots or steals from our residents, our community members who are already being impacted. And I'm sad to report we made 2 arrests this morning for looting already. So if you are thinking about coming into any of these areas to steal from our residents, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be caught, you're going to be arrested, and you're going to be prosecuted. Don't do that. Stay out of these areas. It's only for emergency workers and people who live there.
They sent Anderson Cooper. There it is.
Area, and looked out my window and you could see black smoke, but there was a Starbucks open and, people are going about their business. It's surreal. It's ominous seeing that in the sky. You drive 30 minutes and, people aren't allowed in this area. Thankfully, it's all cordoned off. But 30 minutes away, there is this inferno, and this entire neighborhood has just been devastated. It's hard to wrap your mind around it.
Anderson Cooper in Altadena, California. And
they're going to kill him, dude.
He's quick message to my family members. I just talked to our cousin David, and he and his wife and their kids have gotten out of their home with their dog, but they think that they are going to lose their home as well. To my cousin David, for my mom and dad listening right now. Let's go about 40 miles west to the Pacific Palisades, and TNN's Nick Watt has been there in the thick of the smoke and heat. Nick, what are you seeing on the ground there?
Jake, what we are witnessing here is an urban wildfire, a wildfire right in downtown Pacific Palisades. That's what you're looking at here. The black smoke you can see up there, that's another office building going up. This over here, I mean, there is smoke and flames just every which way you look.
That's like, this is an area where, you know, tens of thousands of people live. It's just gone.
Since I was last here, all of this has been destroyed.
I'm telling you, my cousin's school burned down, dude. It's gone.
An Italian restaurant. This used to be the main street of Pacific Palisades, one of the most salubrious neighborhoods in the country. And, you know, because of the value of the property here, Jake, this could end up being one of the most expensive, one of the costliest wildfires that we have ever seen. Now, as I said, we are in downtown Pacific Palisades. Now, of course, many people have lost homes, over 1,000 structures lost in this fire that will no doubt rise. Injuries, we are also getting some confirmation of a few injuries. Those figures will keep on trickling in. But the next question is, how does this community come back? Both of their grocery stores burned down, their theater burned down, their library burned down, a bunch of the schools burned down, and of course, all of those homes. And it's not over. This wind is still pretty high. We are still seeing embers. We are still seeing flames getting whipped by these strong Santa Ana winds, which peaked in the early hours of the morning. Now, everybody here knew that the Santa Ana winds were coming. So we knew that there was going to be some issue. Now, city and county officials prepared for maybe 1 or 2 fires. The problem is we've had 4 major fires here in the Los Angeles area. That is really stretching the authorities. There were about 250 firefighters on this fire, about 30 departments from around California here to help, but still that's not enough. And it's a very difficult environment in which to fight the fires, particularly up in the hills. And also the problem is, for a long period of time, they weren't able to get any air assets up in the air. They couldn't get the choppers. They couldn't get the fixed-wing aircraft.
Yeah, because the wind is so crazy.
Water. So it was people on the ground sweating through 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts, trying to contain this blaze. Jake, it's not over, and this will leave scars in this community for decades. Back to you.
Nick Watt, thank you. Please stay safe. Joining us now, actor Steve Guttenberg. Cameras caught him earlier, catching him jumping into action as the Palisades fire moved into his neighborhood. He was moving abandoned cars to block the paths. Fire trucks. Steve, thanks for joining us. I'm so sorry it's under these conditions. Tell us what you've seen and heard so far today. Have you been able to make it back to your home in the Palisades?
No, I haven't been.
We just lost Steve. We will bring him back. Obviously, comms are a real situation at a time of natural disasters. We're going to go back live to Altadena, California, just north of Los Angeles, where people are using anything they can to get anything they can get their hands on to battle the flames. In one case, a kitchen pot of water. Look at that. I mean,
that's crazy.
People desperate to do anything they can to save their belongings. Seconds earlier, we saw this man risking his life on the roof. Flames burning just feet away. He's trying to save his property. These desperate times as these fires rage. We're going to have more when we come back. We're going to fix the comms with Steve, and we'll be right back.
At Fisher Investments, we may...
That's crazy. I mean, this is actually crazy. Anyway, Gutenberg's out there helping the firefighters.
Leaving vehicles stuck in the gridlock as flames advance closer.
The flames moved in so quickly. People who were trying to evacuate.
Some houses may not have fire insurance, brother, even or sister. Even if they do have fire insurance, they might no longer have fire insurance. That's another aspect of today's story that we are going to cover. As a matter of fact, California homeowners are reporting that insurance companies recently canceled their fire insurance. With mass flooding, massive fires, and unprecedented climate disasters, the insurance industry is failing millions of people. It's not just California. The home insurance industry is failing Americans across the country. The Florida insurance industry is collapsing, as we know. Is it dumb of me to go to the gym after work today? Sherman Oaks? Dude, isn't Sherman Oaks near one of the evacuation zones? Are these fires climate change related? Yes. I mean, technically everything is climate change related. It's impossible to... You live on the planet. If weather conditions become more and more erratic, then yes, you will be impacted by them. You know, we live on this planet. Unless you live in Mars or something, yes, you will be impacted by this.
They panicked. Every car that you see here represents someone or a family that in that state of fear thought the best option was to abandon their cars and flee on foot.
A bulldozer cleared 100 cars from the roadway to create a path for fire engines.
Come on, guys, we gotta go.
Our own CBS News crew narrowly escaped flames as the fire grew to encompass the whole town. Governor Gavin Newsom urged residents to heed evacuation orders.
Listen to these evacuation orders. We've all been to memorials. I've never been to a memorial for a building.
Throughout the night, flames threatened landmarks like the Getty Villa.
My heart is in my throat. Pray, but God doesn't stop this wind.
In all of my years covering wildfires, I have never seen anything quite like this. I mean, home after home in iconic Malibu destroyed. There are more homes on fire than men and women that can get to them. The LA Fire Department calling on all backup reserves off duty to come into service for the first time in 19 years. And this wind will continue to pick up over the next few hours, Nate.
First, our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, starts us off on the scene at the Palisades wildfire. Good morning, Matt.
Robin, good morning. There's no other way to explain it. This is an apocalyptic scene.
That's how you know it's bad. Okay, when ABC sends their handsome war correspondent to go sit in front of a structural fire like he's a marshmallow ready to be placed in between 2 graham crackers and a bar of chocolate, that's how you know the situation has actually become really bad. Yeah, here, this is an aerial view of what it looks like. Palisades fire from a flight arriving at LAX. Some flights had to turn back around because of the winds as well, making it impossible to land. Cal Fire is pulling aircraft that were in for winter maintenance from Sacramento to the LA area. Do you think that this will do enough damage to Capitol to elicit any sort of meaningful action/change? Probably not. Okay, dumb question, but did the fire cause the winds or were the winds just happening? No, the winds were happening. People knew that because of the dangerous winds and given the precipitation or given how dry LA has been so far for the past couple of months, that this could have been a major issue, a major wildfire. And of course, it happened. The juxtaposition of drill, baby, drill, and the inevitable increase in searching for locations where your home won't get flooded, burned down, or blown away is wild. We lost our home last year in HTX from a tornado. Once in a lifetime storm called a derecho. A month later, we were hit by a hurricane. Tired of it. Yeah. Beverly Hills is safe. So far, Beverly Hills is safe, it seems. Well, maybe not the hillside, but the flats are. Is it affecting your area? No. I am in West Hollywood. Like I said, I am in one of the more densely populated parts of Los Angeles. If the fire got around where I'm at, this would be the worst fire. It would be akin to like historic fires that have happened in like a century. It would be threatening hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people at that point. I mean, this doesn't mean that like it can't happen. Obviously, it's it's very unpredictable, but so far I'm not in an evacuation zone. I'm not even there's like different designations for evacuation zones out there. Okay. So, the way it works is like if you are near the vicinity of a fire, like I'll tell you this much, given the Woodley fire and given the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire, where I'm at is smack dab in the middle of the densely populated parts of Los Angeles. Okay, I'm in West Hollywood. It is probably one of the most central locations. So it has like, it's almost equidistant from all of the individual fires surrounding it, surrounding the entirety of the most densely populated parts of Los Angeles County in 3 different places. If those fires continue growing and continue spreading, okay, or as those fires continue growing and continue spreading, the red flag warnings increase, like the areas where there's a need for special attention increase. I am currently not in that area, okay? Like if you're in I have Watch Duty, the application, which I'm not in the hills, no. I have Watch Duty, the application, which shows you in real time the areas that are in immediate need of evacuation. There are 2 different, like there's an evacuation warning level 2, which means that you're at the edge. And then there's evacuation order level 3, which means go. If you're in an area where you're in evacuation level 3, that's mandatory evacuation. You have to leave that area. If you're in an area that is an evacuation warning level 2, that means that the fire could potentially spread to your neighborhood as well. And that you need to start making preparations for evacuation and maybe even evacuate. So yeah. Basically what you said yesterday, this could have been so much worse if not for the wind direction. Yeah. If the wind wasn't pushing the fires away from the most densely populated parts through random happenstance, like through pure luck, basically. Because as it stands, here, I'll show you this, okay? The wind basically pushed the fire this way towards the water, okay? This is the most densely packed part of Los Angeles. Okay, this is what you think of when you think of greater Los Angeles. You see that? It's like covered, and there's like an area where there's not a lot of roads there because that's the hills. So the other side of that is the valley. And if it wasn't, what do you call it? If it was the, if the winds were, you know, flying this direction, in this direction, the entirety of Los Angeles could have been on fire potentially. But as I've mentioned already, these are the areas. This right here is a second, like evacuation zone 2. This is an evacuation, like these are mandatory evacuation zones at this point, and these are secondary evacuation zones. As in, if you live here, you got to get ready to evacuate. This part is an urban part. Like this is not. There are hundreds of thousands of people that live here. There's commerce here. This is Santa Monica. Okay. This is where downtown Santa Monica is, like on this side directly. This area is all apartment complexes. Show this to chatters who don't understand the scale of LA.
So for those of you not from Los Angeles, this might help orient you and give you a sense of the Palisades fire. So there is downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's downtown LA.
That is downtown. It's actually a fairly clear day there. You can see the mountains behind downtown. And of course, right about...
I don't know why it's echoing. Please, I know the audio is doubled. Okay, calm down. It is what it is. Okay.
Up there is the Hollywood sign. Can't really see it today because there's some residual smoke out there in the basin. And of course, what we're looking at here is Santa Monica Bay. It looks very nice and peaceful from this side, but when you pan out a little bit, you see that there, right there, is the Palisades fire. And it appears to be burning most heavily in the mountains just above Pacific Palisades. Again, panning out for orientation's sakes, the right of the screen is Santa Monica there.
It's massive.
And there is just a...
The greater metropolitan area of Los Angeles is ginormous.
Gigantic plume of smoke.
The wildfire has not affected my area's utilities / internet, but you know, the reality is you never know. This video was from yesterday, by the way. Okay.
That is blowing about south-southwest over the ocean, but really.
And IE power is fluctuating, but that's because of the wind. I work for MSB who have clients all throughout LA and Anaheim, and a lot are having power issues. Yeah, I you know, there's definitely areas where power has gone in and out sporadically. Last night I experienced like a little bit where the power went where the power cut out briefly, but it seems as though I hope you have a backup plan. For streaming, not necessarily. If my power goes out completely, I have generators and I can continue. But if the internet goes out, I also have a backup. I have a backup system. I can use the bag. I can shift over to the bag. And if the bag dies, then you know it is what it is. I think they meant evacuation. Oh, okay, well, that's different. Evacuation is an entirely different situation, okay? Are you safe though? I am yes, I am safe. Did you get your bag? I did. I have the new bag which has multiple modems. So Law, tell us you have a plan. I mean, I do, yes. I have a plan. Here's from CNN, Caitlin Collins.
Woolsey fire, the fire out in Malibu back in...
This was, I believe this was yesterday, right? Yeah, this was yesterday at 9 p.m. predicting that the fire is going to get a lot worse, which it has.
2018, that was huge. I mean, in terms of fires actually this close to, you know, Los Angeles proper, it's the biggest I have ever seen for absolute certain. And, you know, I mean, I live a good, I want to say probably 3 or 4 miles that way in Santa Monica, and the current evacuation zone is a few blocks from my house. If this fire were to get to Santa Monica, this would be one of the most devastating nights we could imagine. You know, I can't contemplate that. And so maybe that tells us a little bit about why people didn't evacuate early. I can't contemplate my house going on fire. So, you know, I'm certainly cutting people slack for that. But, you know, when they come back, some people are going to come back to nothing. But at least they'll be alive.
Yeah. I mean, Nick, a lot of people watching are going to be worried about your safety right now. Are you and the team okay? How are you doing?
Yeah, we're fine. I mean, listen, you know, I'm standing on a road, which is a good idea. I'm feeling slightly, you know, the heat from this is a little concerning. I think after I finish speaking to you, we're probably going to get out of here. And because now that it's dark, there are, you know, fire trucks blocking the road. Once I've finished talking to you, I'm definitely going to chill out and move back just a little bit, just to keep safe and regroup. Because, yeah, it's a pretty intense environment. And, you know, the thing is, things can move so quickly. That's the problem. You know, we were talking about those embers. You know, an ember can drop set a spot fire. Things can happen very, very fast in an environment like this. So once I say goodbye.
If there isn't enough space in the Porsche, Marat can stay home to save Kaya. Marat's not with me. And also, yes, there is enough space for Kaya and my mom. The Palisades fire has been holding on that Santa Monica border for like 24 hours. Malibu on the other side, right? Do you know how it's staying contained between them? Just the wind? I assume it's the wind and also the firefighters working tirelessly around the clock to ensure that it doesn't spread. The wind is so strong and in the right direction for the Palisades fire that the areas adjacent, Santa Monica, WeHo, have really good air quality right now. Not as unfortunate for downtown LA where the wind from the Eden fire is eating its ass. First of all, you're wrong. The air quality even here is not that great. I can tell you that from personal experience. I thought the air quality would be fine. I was wrong. This morning I went out. Oh, actually, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. This morning when I worked out, it was hazardous. It's now at 185 at unhealthy. Yeah, it's just at unhealthy. So that's good. Air quality index went from 387 to 185. So I guess the wind is actually clearing it out from where it was in the this morning. Where it was this morning was definitely very bad. That's higher than before? No, before it was 387. Bro, stop smoking to mess up his lungs even more. Yeah. Is your chopper ready? Yeah. When air quality index exceeded 150, we had to work out inside. 200 was canceled practice. D1 rowing. Yeah, I didn't realize it was like near 400 when I was playing basketball outside, and I was wondering why I had a really weird taste in my mouth, and like my mustache was salty, and I had a very weird taste in my mouth, and I was getting a headache, not realizing that it's probably not the smart thing to do. And I did bring my dog out as well. I live in DTSM Ocean Park and the air quality is so bad still. Lamau, my apartment, is so we're feeling it. If you escape to the snowy mountains, Kaya could be your method of transportation. Yeah, I could ride Kaya. Have you called a private group to protect the compound like Kanye? Yes. How chatters think you played basketball earlier today? Yeah, that's how I did it. Just a salty snack for later. It's true. Okay, here. I wanted to show you the fire insurance situation.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old. And through this.
Chatters look at this and go, yeah, that's right. The bourgeois, the revolutionary class conscious fire, baby. Sticking it to the 90-year-old bourgeois capital owner class.
State of California, because of this, they're 90 years old. They've lived in this house for 75 years. And they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California. And they wonder why people leave California.
First and foremost, you did get your parents out safely.
I live in Sierra Madre. My parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well, north of Sierra Madre Boulevard.
Yeah, I snuck here. You know, there's a will, there's a way. Probably shouldn't do it, but you know what? Under the circumstances, send me to jail. That's fine.
It is unbelievable what's happening here to the neighbors. Your parents' house is still standing. You had a hose. You're doing what you can.
I mean, I have a hose. It doesn't compare to these beloved neighbors that I've known. I was born and raised in this house, and I live in Sierra Madre, and I'm now 6.
Dude, it's like people taking matters in their own hands is crazy. I'm not built like that. Let me tell you, okay? The moment that the evacuation notice comes in, I mean, I'm not stopping the stream or anything. Don't get me wrong, but I'm getting in the goddamn car and driving away. You're rich? Dude, what are you talking about? Your level of... Your money does not make you flame retardant, okay? What are you saying? Like, oh, I'm more flammable because I have money is not the argument here. It's just like you die. If you're in the fire, you die. Yeah. You can't say that word. Flame R-worded? Is that what I should say?
62 years.
You could say that really rich people have helicopters for such an event. I don't know if they do. I don't think so. Especially because I don't think you can chopper out when there's like horrible wind conditions in general. You'll just die. I feel like if you tried to helicopter out of this, I feel like if you try to helicopter out of a straight up wildfire, you are more likely to crash and die. And there's already you know, a lot of other air travel happening in that area. You are rich, you can rebuild your house. Those people might not. Brother, it doesn't matter. You still die. What do you mean? You're still taking it. Oh my God. You're right. Poor people should stay behind is my argument. Poor people, you should stay behind if your house is on fire in a wildfire. That's the smart thing to do. This is a special fire that only checks people's credit score and bank account before burning houses. Yeah.
And this is the house I was born and raised in, and I've never moved out of Pasadena, Sierra Madre, Hastings Ranch.
Well, let me tell you, it does help for people who aren't here to know what's happening.
Yeah, Chatters would look at a situation where there's like a insane wildfire happening and be like, how do we make this a story about Hassan? And Hassan is the enemy here. Your tone is the problem. It is very relaxed. What?
So you sharing that story, it does a service. I came up to you without even asking your name.
My name is Lynn Levin Guzman. This is the Levin household. I'm a nurse for over 30 years in emergency room. I deal with fire all the time and firefighters. And this situation here, luckily, people got out.
Obviously, the chatter is stupid, but you're missing that chatter's point repeatedly. He's saying, of course you'd flee. You have money and don't care, like someone who is poor. I'm not saying your logic is appropriate, but God, Hassan, how do you not understand him? No, I do understand him. I'm still saying that don't do that. I'm saying don't do that. Regardless of your financial status, do not try to go back into a burning, into an area that is engulfed in flames. Do you want to know why? Because while in that very moment you think you can potentially fight this fire and save your house or save your belongings, okay, you won't be able to do that. And on top of that, you're an additional burden to the emergency services that are already additional burden to the emergency services that are already working round the clock to manage the fire. Now you have to make them do evac for you. Okay? Your life is worth significantly more than your material possessions. I know that I understand that the insurance industry is awful, and that on the other hand, you think, you know, if you can save some of your belongings, that you'll be able to, like, sometimes the argument turns into it's a fate worse than death, right? Where you're alive, but everything you own has been burned to the ground, and now you have no means of recovery. The problem is your life is still worth more. That's it. During the fire, you find some people who succeed trying something like this after the fire. When you find out all about those who tried and failed, yeah.
Out because those are my patients, the people who are not so fortunate to get out.
As you mentioned, let's just hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, like when I was a broke boy, I had to evacuate. Not even for a brief moment did I consider like I could potentially lose all of my belongings. Like, yeah, that is definitely top of mind. That is definitely something I was thinking about, but it wasn't like enough of a thought that I was like, no, I'm going to stay behind. Yeah, I took my dog and I peaced out.
Lynn, I'm going to let you get back to it. And for you taking the time, we thank you. To your parents, we wish them the best as well. As I send it back to you, there's Lynn again with the hose. She's using a garden hose, getting the awnings, getting the roof of the house, doing anything she can. We say that as the embers are blowing directly on us here in the Upper Hastings Ranch community. She's here, her brother's here, and you know that there's other, let me tell you, the majority of the homes in this community are still standing. We drove past many on the lower side that are still standing, but the night is young.
Absolutely, a long way to go, and a courageous woman at that. And
I don't know if this is the best idea to just like, people are gambling on the spread of the fires on Poly Market. Absolutely dystopian. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. That's cool. That's great. Will Palisades fire spread to Malibu by Sunday? 24% chance. By yes. Palisades fire burns 10,000 acres by Friday. A sign of the times that at least with anthropogenic climate change, as erratic weather conditions create, century, like once a century events numerous times a year, okay, at least you can bet on it with your cryptocurrency. That's crazy. I'm telling you right now, it's like we love watching movies like dystopia. We love watching movies where this like dystopian society exists, but we fail to recognize that we are living in that dystopia right now. Without any of the cool cyberpunk neon lights either.
this was the biggest supermarket here in Pacific Palisades. You can see the fire ripping through it. You can hear the crackling of the fire, the hissing of the gases. Debris collapsing right now as we're speaking. Firefighters helpless to do anything. That was a realtor shop all along here in 300.
Is that a... Am I crazy or is that a... No, that's not a gas station. That's so close to that fire, right? There's no way that they're just chilling.
160 degrees. We're homes around here that have burned. I'm going to have our cameraman come here. There are other businesses across the street that are burning. And right now, across this area, firefighters just can't cope with the...
Bro is surrounded 3 parts by fire, structural fires, right next to what looks like is a gas station. That's... Looks like a drive-through fast food.
Vastness of this fire.
This morning, those apocalyptic scenes in Southern California now under a state of emergency, with over 50,000 people forced to evacuate their homes, fleeing for their lives as fires burned across LA County. Multi-million-dollar homes incinerated one after the other. The largest fire tearing through the enclave of Pacific Palisades, one of the wealthiest in the country. It was fueled by historic winds, burning at a rate of 5 football fields per minute, gutting the Palisades' high-end downtown area.
5 football fields per minute.
Firefighters attacking the more than 2,900-acre wildfire from the ground and the air, but the fire exploding everywhere, seemingly at once. Firefighters and locals overwhelmed.
All right, dude. Yeah, let's get out of here. We tried, bro. I'm sorry.
Tanner and his friend.
The video, Tanner, that's extremely Tanner behavior. The video I saw that was insane yesterday was these 2 dudes that are just like sitting in their house as it is surrounded by flame. And you can see the overhead like plane flying in and dumping water. And it's just not even doing anything to stop the fires at all. And I don't even know what happened to those guys. I mean, I'm sure they've survived, but it's like, yeah, the one with the dog. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yep. 2 men stuck at home. Also, what I have noticed is like these right-wing reactionary accounts like Street People of Los Angeles that are constantly complaining about how the police need to be more militant and more militarized are also complaining about Karen Bass underfunding the LAFD. Now, noticeably absent from their coverage is the additional $100 million that the police department got. Okay? So that's really interesting. These people that were demanding that the police get funded more, demanding that they kill more homeless people or whatever, are now, they're living in the society that they designed, in the society that they demanded, and they're still mad. Here's the video on Twitter so I can full screen it. So apparently they safely evacuated, but...
Hi. Just be okay. You're gonna be okay. Hi.
He's like, you're gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay.
Look, you'll see the water being dumped on him too in a second.
Oh shit.
It's crazy.
Don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Oh shit.
You see?
Scary, fuck. Yeah. The plastic is gone, dude. Yeah. Fuck. Look at. The water already? Yeah. Oh shit. So, where's the gas? Outside. Okay, the gas is off right now. No, don't open the window. Don't open. Don't open anything. Just stay over here. Fuck.
To your other take earlier, you are right. Cars also suffocate. Therefore, if you don't evacuate and try to fend off looters, they will collect your burnt body inside your burnt car. Yep. These guys die? No. I think they got out. Meanwhile, of course, as always, while the unprecedented wildfires are ripping through the Los Angeles area and state wildfire fighting forces in the state of California also often have incarcerated workers making as little as under $6 a day. California has dozens of fire camps throughout the state for incarcerated people to fight wildfires. They work in hand crews to dig trenches, clear vegetation, and perform other dirty work to help make putting out fires possible. Despite the fact that these workers can make up nearly a third of the force battling the state's wildfires, 30%, they're paid between $580 and $1024 per day. The number of inmates willing to do this work has plummeted from a peak of more than 4,000 in 2005 to less than 1,800 today, even as fires have gotten deadlier. One former inmate firefighter wrote about his experience in 2021. The conditions in California prisons are so terrible that fighting wildfires is a rational choice. It is probably the safest choice as well. Still, at least 4 incarcerated firefighters in California have died in the line of duty in recent years as the state's fires have grown more aggressive and deadlier. Incarcerated firefighters are 8 times as likely to suffer from smoke inhalation as other firefighters. Federal wildland firefighters, meanwhile, have been used as a political football in recent years. After Biden raised starting pay for these workers to $15 an hour in 2021, the 2021 infrastructure law boosted their pay by as much as $20K. But hardline Republicans failed to make this bump permanent. So firefighters have been forced to lobby Congress against a $20,000 pay cut over and over again. They just did it last month again, and might have to again if we near another government shutdown in March. One former U.S. Forest Service firefighter told us in 2023 that he had to work more than 1,000 hours of overtime and take a second job to make ends meet. There's several wildland firefighters out there that live out of their cars because they can't afford rent where they would work. Many of these firefighters aren't even classified as firefighters due to an archaic federal classification system. The result is that many federal wildland firefighters leave for agencies like CAL FIRE, which pay much higher wages and classify them as firefighters, or leave the work altogether. The Palisades fire is already causing massive destruction. As the climate crisis gets worse, we need more and more resources to fight record-breaking wildfires every year. That must include raising the pay and improving conditions for the people putting themselves in the line to fight deadly wildfires. Why can't we just take care of our folk? No one is trying to be a millionaire. We just want to pay the bills and have a good living. If I recall correctly, they're trying to get around the unions by privatizing via outsourcing.
The Palisades fire is ripping through Los Angeles right now.
This is that formerly incarcerated firefighter.
And what you may not know is that there are people in prison fighting those fires. I was one of them. Now, this is a picture of me in prison wearing the orange. This was in 2009, and I was a firefighter on the Hasanabi fire in Santa Barbara. A fire not that different from the one burning in Los Angeles right now. There was heavy winds, it pushed embers down into the neighborhoods, and homes were burning down. Now, this is a picture of my fire crew. The dirty dude.
My twin bro is a federal wildland firefighter for like 8 years. He makes a GS6 salary, which is like a janitor at the Pentagon, who should also make more.
This is what we called ourselves. Crew 14-2 with the Los Angeles County Fire Department out of Francisquito. Every single person in this picture was in prison. That's me in the back right, standing. Now, 2 of the people in this photo are no longer with us, unfortunately. And one of the guys in this photo, all the way on the left, he's a firefighter today. He's a hotshot with the United States Forest Service. Now, when I was in fire camp, I got paid anywhere from $1.75 to $2.90 per day. And then when we went on a fire or any other type of incident, I made $1 per hour. Not very much money, but it was the highest pay number in the state of California at the time. I paroled from fire camp in 2012.
For reference, the GS6 is around $38K to $50K, which is obviously not a livable wage, especially if you live around an area like California, Los Angeles, where there are a lot of oh my god, I don't want to move on to the conspiracy theories yet, dude. I don't want to do that to my brain so far. I already have a headache from all the toxic fumes that I inhaled earlier this morning while playing basketball outside like a dumbass with a very low air quality. Okay. Here's a good point that Ryan Grimm of Dropsite makes on his show, Counterpoints. Let's take a look.
I think it's very difficult to look at Los Angeles in particular
from inside of our perspective as Americans, because it's sort of like fish in water. Like, it just kind of is what it is. But if you try to step back and look at it from outside the United States or in a more objective way, what you see is a city that spends tens of millions of dollars on individual homes for individual people with the most lavish artwork and swimming pools and luxuries that anybody could possibly contemplate, say like 200 years ago, while
talking about my house,
starving kind of the rest of the city of needed public improvements so that people can actually move around efficiently, and so that public services are decently funded. And so we often say, well, can we afford an effective fire department? Can we afford better schools? The question that you might have to ask about Los Angeles in particular, and maybe the United States more generally, can we afford this billionaire class? Because we are the ones that have produced that billionaire class. It's our society, it's our system. We are somehow deciding or through not deciding, allowing this flourishing of this extraordinary inequality that is sucking up all of the resources that could be put in other directions. And the question is, can we afford it? And when you look at what's happening in Los Angeles now, to me it says, no, we can't afford it.
Looking at you, yeah, I did it. I did it as a billionaire. I did it on purpose because I hate the working poor.
Orly racing to.
Yeah. I actually engaged in the secret reverse psychology. Where I routinely advocate to redistribute resources to areas of need, knowing full well that people will take the exact opposite opinion of mine. It's a real 5-head move. Yeah. All this time when I was telling you guys, when I was regularly advocating to fund these areas, harden the infrastructure, make better use of the resources that we have, that we collect. Okay. That was actually knowing full well that you guys would take the opposite position. I was making that advocacy known so that people would take the opposite opinion. Glad you and your fam are safe. Checked in to see if you all had to evacuate yet. No, we're good. So far. W moves, W brain.
To escape the home surrounded by flames.
Gotta get out of here. Holy.
A Santa Ana wind event the National Weather Service called the worst in over a decade, turbocharging the fire.
The fire is being fueled by a combination of strong winds and surrounding topography, which is making it extremely challenging for our personnel that are assigned to this incident.
Everything is catching fire here. Trash bins, shrubs, trees, houses. The smoke is unbearable at this point, and we've just seen 4 or 5 houses go up over the past few minutes here. The entire area here looks apocalyptic.
And that wildfire sparing no one, no vehicle or structure safe across Los Angeles County, home to 10 million people. The fire so widespread, no word yet on deaths or injuries. A commercial aircraft flying over the area, capturing the magnitude of the massive fire.
The homeowners are saying they're unable to access any exit routes. There's fire on both sides of the roads on Palisades.
And right there on Sunset Boulevard, we saw the gridlock of drivers trying to flee the fire, abandoning their cars. But that made it impossible for firefighters to enter the fire zone, so a fire department bulldozer had to push dozens of the abandoned vehicles out of the way.
This is Sunset Boulevard, right in the heart of Pacific Palisades. And all of these cars, including us at one point, were stuck in this gridlock. And in order for firefighters to actually get to the fires, they had to carve a path. And so a bulldozer literally shoved all of these cars to the side. You can see the bumpers ripped off, the scratches along the vehicles here. There's glass in the roadway.
Dozens of homes obliterated by the flames as residents tried to flee. Flames inching up the hill of the Getty Villa Museum with more than 125,000 priceless artifacts at risk. On Malibu Beach, lifeguard stations ablaze, the ocean right there, but not close enough to save homes and businesses along the Pacific Coast Highway. The Rakusin family hosing down what they can before clearing the area, taking with them the hope that their home might be safe.
I started to hose off the home and hose down all of the shrubbery and the trees and bushes.
We don't know whether the house is going to be there or not.
The inferno also threatened the property of notable actors. James Woods posting this video from the view of his driveway.
We've got a lot of planes going over, dropping water.
Comedic actor Josh.
Bro, if you can see the red of the fire in your neighbor's house, you probably should evacuate at that point. Like, you probably should have started evacuating a lot faster instead of just like standing there and filming it.
Josh Gad taking to Instagram.
I have never seen flames from my house like this, ever. This is insanity.
And police academies.
It's like extra crazy because James Wood is obviously a massive MAGA guy, climate change denier, just a horrible monster in general. I'm so glad I'm too poor to live in any of the affected areas. I mean, there are a lot of people that live there, so it's not just like super wealthy people, I think.
Star Steve Gutenberg helping his neighbors to safety.
I'm lucky. I'm able-bodied. And I think when you're able-bodied, that's a good moment for you to help out in your community.
And Robin, for firefighters here, there is almost no visibility. The winds here are still at about 20 miles an hour. I had to put this mask on. I want you to see the ferocity of those flames and how much black gas and smoke they're putting out. They're going to be battling this for days. This fire is not going anywhere. And firefighters right now are strapped. There are simply too many spot fires all over the place for them to be able to contain this and try to put out the embers before the next wind event happens. This is as bad as I've ever seen it. I've been here in the Pacific Palisades at a personal level. Family lives here many, many times. Driving up this morning, I simply couldn't recognize where I was. Robin.
And that says so much.
Yeah. So predictably, the conversation is not actually around climate change and its devastating impact on moments like this, which create massive drought and massive flooding first, and then massive drought shortly thereafter, which creates incredible fuel for this fire to burn and continue burning. Erratic weather conditions and winds that go up to 80 miles an hour obviously carry this fire across incredible distance in a very short period of time. But in all of this chaos, as we stare down, what previously used to be where hundreds of thousands of people lived, what are the American people looking to? What are they pointing the finger of blame at? Well, one of the things that they're pointing the finger of blame at is, of course, not climate change, but instead a lesbian DEI firefighter. That's right. Conservatives have figured out that it's actually the fault of lesbian DEI firefighters. Doors open. Okay, that's right. I saw one tweet of it. Did you? Can you guys send it to me? I'm sure you've seen that tweet, right? This is the bridge all over again. Elon Musk has decided to blame regulations. These fires are easily avoidable, but nonsense regulations in California prevent action being taken. So year after year, homes burn down and more people die. Elon Musk, of course, is tackling the real issues, which is regulation. Can someone show where the lesbian firefighters are at? Yeah. Which we know on its face is bullshit. Have you seen the lesbian woodchoppers on Instagram? Okay, no. There was let me see if I can find it. I saw one tweet of someone blaming lesbian firefighters. Oh, I mean, here are a couple statements on it, but here's Derek Evans, who was arrested at the Capitol, if you recall, and lost his position as a former member of the West Virginia House of Representatives. Derek Evans is in the Capitol, he said on January 6, 2021. He was so stupid that he live streamed himself doing an insurrection and subsequently lost his job and even withstood some legal repercussions. But the situation is, of course, once again, Derek Evans is right here, finding the exact people to yell at. California residents are losing their entire neighborhoods. Do you think a single person has stopped to think, oh, well, at least we have a lesbian fire chief who hired a bunch of unqualified people based on DEI, or no water to fight the fires, but at least we saved a Delta smelt. Yeah, it's those pesky lesbian firefighters that are the problem here. Here's more. Luckily, Los Angeles has its first female and LGBTQ fire chief. Rob Taylor responds, and that's significant. Why? I don't know her, but I hope she was just the best person for the job. If not, the community pays the price. Here is Libs of TikTok also making sure that everybody understands that the fire chief is a lesbian and therefore bad at her job, and that's the reason why. And that's the reason why these fires are ripping through the Palisades.
The department is launching its first ever Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Bureau. It is dedicated to ensuring a fair and equal workplace environment.
Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero is live in North Hollywood with more on what it entails and why it's necessary.
I'm sorry. You are the most delusional person on the planet if you look at a fire. If you look at a fire that's ripping through these densely slammed neighborhoods, and your first inclination is, oh, I would sure hate that a lesbian woman is fighting these fires. Okay? You're out of your mind, dude. What are you talking about? I don't care what the background of the person is that's bravely that's braving the flames. Like, what are we doing at this point? It's one of the most insane. This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Absolutely no one should care about this unless you are so pathetically lasered in on the background of the person. You care more about that than the job that they're doing. Like, imagine pointing the finger at the person who is currently fighting these wildfires as you sit at home thousands of miles away, safe, okay? And being like, you know who's the real problem here? The people that are fighting these fires. Los Angeles recently appointed its very first female LGBTQ fire chief with the goal of recruiting more women and gay firefighters. Like, who cares? We need more firefighters in general. Who cares if they are gay or women or gay women or trans? Like, I don't care. Why would I care? Why would you care? When someone is pulling you out of a burning building, do you go, are you a homosexual, sir? Because if so, yuck, I would rather die.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300.
Like, she's talking about the number of firefighters, not specifically the number of gay firefighters. She's saying there is not like a finite amount of firefighters necessary because we have wildfires that are massive. Okay? It doesn't matter what their background is. Isn't the worry that there might have been a more qualified non-DEI candidate? That is what they're trying to claim. But it is so stupid. It is so pathetically idiotic to make that assertion, especially when it comes to firefighting. Especially when it comes to firefighting in a place like Los Angeles. Okay? I have friends that have been able to get these jobs. These are some of the most difficult to get jobs on out of like any public service position, okay? Any public servant position. Do you understand? Like, you think that they're lowering the qualifications because someone is gay? It doesn't matter what their background is. You still have to go through tremendous amounts of training. It takes years. It is insanely competitive. And also on top of that, I trust you. I don't know much about the hiring of these jobs. Just know that whenever someone says, oh, we're hiring the worst people possible because they're gay, they're wrong. That's just not how anything works. They're just assuming that because someone is gay or lesbian or trans or whatever, that they're doing a worse job overall. That's it. It's just a way to imagine that these people are bad and worse for the position overall because of their background. That's it. That's it.
City firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that. She's quick to point out that doing so has a greater purpose, attracting the best and brightest for the job.
They feel.
Yeah, the argument is that if you change who you are hiring exclusively, you have an unlimited well of potential that you can tap into. Even Michael Treacy is like, do you have any evidence that this person is incompetent at her profession? The bio says she's a 22-year vet of the LAFD and was previously battalion chief, assistant chief, deputy chief, and chief deputy. These cheap swipes based on identity traits are getting tiresome. Looking at a person who has spent the last 22 years of her career combating fires in one of the most competitive job markets out there, okay? One of the most competitive job markets out there. It's still desperately underfunded. Firefighters should get funded more. They should be allowed to have unions and all of that good stuff, okay? Having said that, however, this is one of the most, like, you have to be the most qualified person to be able to reach this level. And you look to this and you go, well, she's a lesbian woman, so obviously she's unqualified. They only they only put her in that position because she's a lesbian woman. It's ridiculous. The automatic assumption that like a white dude is going to be better than this woman is crazy. Meet Los Angeles Fire Chief Kristen Cowley. She boasts about being the first female LGBTQ fire chief in the LA Fire Department. Promoting a culture of DEI is her priority. Does this make you feel safer? Yeah. I don't think anyone, even like people responding to her are like, I don't think anyone in LA area going through the fires right now gives a flip about whether or not she's an LGBTQ fire chief. Like, how stupid. Like, how insanely stupid. These people have brainworms, dude. They have brainworms. Okay? Like, the first thing that you look to in a situation like this is whether or not a person that's like somehow responsible for the evacuation or the recovery efforts that are taking place, if they're gay or not, you're a psychopath.
feel included, they feel valued, and they feel part of a cohesive team.
The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
That just kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that that was an opportunity for me. I am super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy.
Anyway. It's so strange to me. Diane owns tree hugging kids. Diane current POV. Are you going to touch on the case for letting Malibu burn? No, I'm not going to do that. That's insane. I didn't even know that there was someone. Maybe we've written too many think pieces. Harrowing experience of a Pacific Palisades resident escaped the inferno. Imagine being surrounded by flames that wouldn't help you. Hi, I'd like to tell you what happened to me during the Palisades fire. If you're interested, I ran from foot from it, and when I encountered police, they refused to allow me entry into their car. Bear in mind that they were explicitly ordered to help with evacuations. I mean, look, I don't know. This is a text message sent to film the police LA, so I don't know the veracity of these claims. Okay. The fire is officially historic. Yeah. Pacific Palisades wildfire is the most destructive in LA history, with 1,000 structures burned. Fierce wildfires are raging in the Los Angeles area, fueled by powerful Santa Ana winds, sending residents fleeing from burning homes through flames. Thousands of firefighters were battling at least 3 separate blazes from the Pacific coast inland to Pasadena. Already crowded hospitals now contend with medical emergencies from smoke inhalation. What is this? Video of the Aldi in Altadena on fire.
Here directly to the south, right next to the Aldi, is Elliott Arts Magnet Middle School, which also caught fire earlier this morning, and now we're seeing it across the street at the grocery store. We're seeing some folks here that are making their way up on Lake Avenue right here, but this is a busy thoroughfare. You can see the big flames, but also look at the sky and the black smoke, Tommy, if we can pan up, and you can see some of these embers that are coming down here. And when I talked where we're looking here,
What is this? 101 year wait, what? A 101-year-old woman was just saved from her house. I just edited an insane photo of it here at the Times. There are real people being affected. It's not just rich people. Yeah. That is insane. The Palisades fire has grown to more than 15,800 acres, according to CAL FIRE, the state's fire agency. I think headlines like this also cause people to go, all right, let it burn. You know what I mean? Some of the city's most expensive real estate is burning. Yeah, except there's also, there's also just like normal working class people that live there as well. It's not just the super wealthy people whose homes are burning. This is, again, an area where a lot of people live. Kind of wild how everyone's really primed to take something like this and use it to reaffirm their previously held worldview. Yeah. It is crazy how everyone in Los Angeles, like everyone living in the greater Los Angeles area, are lucky enough to look at the wind. Like the one that's, I think, coming in from the Eaton fire is actually kind of scary. But like, look at the wind conditions. Like they literally come in and just purposely push out the wildfire away from these areas where a lot of people live. Even more people live than like the Palisades. Your homeowner is showing? What? My homeowner is showing? What does that even mean? The same exact dynamic occurred in the 2017 Tubbs fire. I spent a lot of time telling people it wasn't just rich people having their lives ruined. Yeah. Yeah, I talked about this earlier as well, but 11 months ago, Los Angeles area got a year's worth of rain and faced life-threatening flooding and mudslides. Now, it's on fire after its driest start to a water year on record. Okay? Extreme drought and extreme flooding. That is climate change.